Hello everybody. So I have been on the lookout for incandescent string lights and I can only seem to find two brands and this is one of them. I've already done a video on a set by NOMA and this one is by Christmas Workshop. I'm also on the lookout for LED string lights that look incandescent, so they have the same sort of shape and also the lights or the hues of the lights are like similar, because I find LED string lights to be incredibly garish and like harsh on the eyes and not comfy and cozy like incandescent ones are. Now, I believe sometime maybe in 2018, the EU completely banned incandescent bulbs. And I think it must have been like a phase out period for a few years. But then, of course, the UK left the EU, but we still kind of have that ban in place. However, there are these two companies that are selling incandescent string lights. So I thought I would get a set of each color just to see how they are. And I'm also really keen to see how they compare to the NOMA ones. This is a set of 20, and this is the first incandescent set of string lights that I have touched in like 15 years. I don't know what happened to the ones that we used to have growing up. I assume they are no longer with us. I can't tell if it's kind of thing where different manufacturers will have different shades of color in the bulbs. I know that it can be a thing where string lights can have 4 colors or 5 colors, and I know that there can be kind of a heated debate between which one is the best. I personally prefer 5 colors. I think that just looks a lot more festive to me. And especially if it's going to be LED, I would prefer 5 colors, because I just find pretty much, yeah, like the red, the green and the blue in particular really harsh. So, you know, yellow helps, but then having a 5th color kind of makes it a bit less garish to me personally. But looking at this, it appears that there are also 5 colors. And also what's great about incandescent string lights is because you can replace the bulbs, you can, if you wanted to, you could like change the sequence of colors on there. I've actually been thinking about modifying some white ones because I really want to do some Halloween string lights, and I'm thinking to do orange, purple and green, and there's loads of orange and greens available. I mean, within the context of incandescent string lights, because they are like not easy to find, but you know, you've got orange and you've got green. But I've also found out that you can actually paint them with special bulb paint. So I'm thinking about getting some purple bulb paint. So if you're interested to see that, then let me know. But yeah, anyway, let's give it a try. I'm gonna open them up. Oh, and by the way, I got these on eBay, and I have actually seen this brand in hardware stores, and I actually popped in one near me, and I actually found a bunch of products by this brand, but also sets of 100 fairy lights, incandescent. They didn't have any other like size options, but I have a feeling that this is going to be like the NOMA ones, where it is, I feel like there's certain terms for it, but they basically, I'll tell you what, oh yeah, I'll show you on here. Like, see how you've got 2 cables coming out, and then as you go down, you've got a set of lights. Excuse the tangledness. I'm usually very good at keeping string lights not tangled, but I think with this type it's not easy. So see how you've only got one, and then it goes in the whole loop until the final one, which is here, I think. No, here, this one. And then it goes back to the plug. So I have a feeling that these are like that too, and I'm pretty sure the set of 100 that I saw are also like that. And I was just kind of thinking, honestly, if I was going to use this to decorate a tree, I just feel like I'd want one where it's like in a line. Of course, I also mentioned, yeah, so I got these on eBay, but then I got these on Amazon, and on Amazon they were called, there was no mention of Christmas Workshop. It was a brand called We Are Christmas, So R with a letter R. So, and then this arrived. So I think that's kind of interesting. Maybe we are Christmas we're distributing them. I have no idea, but Christmas Workshop seems to be quite a big Christmas decorations brand in the UK. So yeah, I'm not really sure what that's about, but if I like these, unless there's any issues, you know, I think I might keep these anyway as like spares. And also something that I'm realizing, I know some of you are probably itching for me to just get them open, but just as I'm thinking of it, something I'm realizing is if you can get hold of spare bulbs, it's actually a lot cheaper to just get a whole new set of a string of lights, and it's cheaper. Like if you divide, you know, the price of this divided by 40, that is cheaper than a set of 4 or 5 bulbs. So yeah, just something to note. So yeah, unless I have any issues with this, which I don't think I will, I think I will keep this as a backup for the bulbs at least. So let's crack this open. Oh, and I'll just, for anyone who's interested, I'll just show you the info on the box. I know some people like to see that, so if you wanted to pause and read. I actually haven't really looked at it myself. Yeah. Okay, cool. Right. So let's see. Yeah, so I think it is in a string. And here are the spare bulbs here. Let's open this up. Just want to do it really carefully so I don't break anything. So we've got 3 bulbs here, 1 fuse bulb and 2 color bulbs. So it looks like blue and probably red there. And I would assume that these colors are random. So I'm curious to see what would be in the other box. So yeah, that's handy to have. I feel like I read somewhere that there would be, maybe I'm thinking wrong, but there would be like a tool to open bulbs, because this is something that I've learned since my other like unboxing videos, that it's kind of better to use a tool than to pull it out. So yeah, it is wired like the NOMA ones. I think I'll just compare them side by side real quick. Let's see. Nice. So the NOMA ones look slightly taller, the bulbs. That is interesting. Cool. Let's turn them on. Let's take this off. This is handy for if you need to change the fuse or anything. Just keep that in the box. And if anyone wants to read, here is the warning label. All right. Oh, gorgeous. So pretty. I think just after like many years of not really being in contact with incandescent lights, and then and only really being in contact with LED lights, I'm like just blown away by how gorgeous the color is and the way the light comes off of them. Because I think I was always into the colored ones growing up, but then as like they got phased out and then LED became a thing, I think I just kind of gravitated more towards the warm white LEDs, even though I still think a lot of the time they are too harsh. And I found that actually ones that aren't as harsh and are more like acceptable for me is the vintage gold ones. So yeah, so pretty. On the camera, like, the filament looks very white, but in person it looks like less white. Does that make sense? It looks more like the actual color of the bulb. I wonder if I can try and focus and change. Yeah, I'd say it looks more like that in person. So pretty. Okay, so let's compare it, and also it's already getting warm. I'm trying to think, what do I want to do first? I want to do with the white ones, or we'll do the white ones, and then I'm curious to compare with the NOMA ones. Interesting, this wasn't attached to the wire. But here we go. So we've got two spare white bulbs and then one fuse bulb. I'll take that off. And I doubt there's much difference in the packaging, but I'll just show you there in case you're interested. Also, side note, and if you've seen my other videos, you've heard me mention this a lot of times. I really like when they have this diagram to show the length of, like, the lit length and then the cord length. One just other thing which I think is really good is when it has the bulb spacing. It's the text is really tiny here. I don't know if you'll be able to see that there, but it says bulb spacing 8 centimeters, and I think that's just really handy. I mean, you could kind of calculate it yourself by doing the lit length divided by the amount of lights, or one less than the amount of lights. But yeah, I just think that's really handy, and I think they should all have that, because when I'm looking for string lights, one of the main things that I'm curious to know is the length and how many lights am I going to get in a bunch, which I think can be especially handy depending on where you're putting it, whether it's going around like a doorway or on a tree itself. So yeah, let's get this on, and then here's the warning label again. I think this will probably be about the same. So there we go. I'm especially looking forward to turn this on because I haven't really seen white incandescent lights in just as long. And yeah, I'm just curious to see how warm they are. All right. Nice. Okay. This is really interesting to me because I think I was expecting them to be a bit more of like a golden white, whereas this is slightly more of a pure white than what I was expecting. But I think that's simply because all of the white LED string lights that I've been drawn to have more of a goldish hue to make them less harsh. But honestly, staring at this is nowhere near as harsh as staring at a bunch of white LEDs. I've actually got some sets to compare this to kind of show you what I mean by it being too harsh. So I'll do that in another video. So this is great. And then let's see the NOMA ones in comparison. Let's try and neaten this up real quick. I think I'll just turn these off for a second while we compare. Nice. Yeah, there's definitely a difference in the green, for example. So I'm trying to think how to explain it. So this is much more of a sort of like piney forest green, whereas this is more of a sort of Kelly green, I would say. Let me just turn the light off and maybe it'll come out a bit better on here. Can you see how this is, yeah, I'm really not good with color names, but the green is definitely slightly different there, which is really interesting. Let's see, let's go through all of them. So the blue, I would say, is about the same. And then orange. About the same, but I think there is a slight difference. And I think it is showing on camera the slight difference. But that also might just be because the bulb is slightly different. So maybe the tip looks a bit different to that one. And then pink. I think it's the same thing where I think it only looks slightly different because it's a different bulb size, but the actual bulb looks pretty much the same. And then red. Yeah, about the same. One thing also that I was curious about was with this set, the fuse bulb was about 3 bulbs in. So the blue bulb would be here and then it would go pink, green, red. But the fuse bulb was in place of the blue. I don't know why. I'm really curious to see if it's like that on all of them. I have actually ordered some extra sets of these NOMA string lights, and yeah, so I thought I'd move it to the front because from my vague memory I thought the fuse bulb needed to be at the front. Do correct me if I'm wrong. I tried googling it, but it just came up with a bunch of US related stuff. I know things are kind of different with incandescent string lights there because maybe the difference in voltage. So yeah, so I moved it to the front, and I was thinking actually to, with the other sets of these that I've ordered, to kind of put it back in its order and put a blue one after the pink and just kind of shove it up one. So yeah, so I'm really curious to compare with these Christmas Workshop ones where the fuse bulb is. Okay, so again, it is not the first one. I was convinced that that is the way it was supposed to be. Let's also, just while we're at it, just look at the sequence of colours. I'll just kind of untangle them. Okay, so red, green, pink, blue, orange, red, green, red, blue, orange, red, green, pink, blue, orange, red, green, pink, blue, orange, then fuse bulb, then green, so that would have replaced the red, pink, blue, orange, and then another orange, green, red, blue, red, red, green, red, blue, orange, red, green, pink, blue, orange. Okay, so there's a lot of reds going on here. Interesting. I think for me personally, like, that's gonna bug me. So I will definitely rearrange these a little and try and get them in a better sequence. And I think I will also put the white bulb at the front. I will also have to figure out where the front is. I mean, I'm no expert, I'm no electrician, but where would I assume it would be, just looking at this? The live side. So that would be on the left. Let's see. Well, on the left when facing that way. So yeah, I will fiddle around with that. That's also another reason why I was really excited to get these, so then I can kind of like play around with them. Because I remember when I was a kid, finding it really fun, like replacing bulbs when they had gone out, and kind of, yeah, basically kind of doing stuff like this, like if we had got a new set, like making sure it's all in the right color order. So let's open these up and see how these are. And then there's one more thing I want to do after this, and that is see if the bulb fitting is the same between the Christmas Workshop ones and the NOMA ones, because I got some spare bulbs from NOMA, which matches the like voltage of this, but I'm curious to see if they actually fit in there. I'm kind of sensing, probably as you can probably tell if you have scrolled through my videos, that this is becoming a new kind of collection for me. I mean, it's been a special interest of mine for a very long time, but collecting like string lights in general, but collecting incandescent ones I feel like might become a new thing for me. Right, so here we are again. We've got the spit bulb. So this is blue and orange. If anyone remembers what these were, then well done. This is blue and red, I believe. Just hold up to the light to compare. Yeah, blue and red. So yeah, they are different for different sets. And interesting that this one had red rather than orange, or just red in general, and there were so many red lights or red bulbs on that strand. So let's plug these in and see how they are. Yeah, I'll just remove this first. Put that in there. One good thing about a more modern, I don't know if I don't really need to keep this sticker on. I'm just gonna stick it on there. I think that's kind of where it would have gone. One thing that is good about more modern sets of incandescent string lights with this type of plug, like UK plug or plug G, because it's not just the UK who has this plug, is the safety feature here, and that is so that if you're touching it, you won't get an electric shock. And with older plugs, this wasn't there, and that I think could be fatal. So yeah, so it's good that these have that. And if I were to ever get any vintage ones that didn't have that, I would probably have a go at replacing the plug. I've never done that before, but I've seen a bunch of videos and it does look straightforward if you're very careful. So yeah. And then here's, I'll just show you this. I don't think it is. Actually, is it any different? The important text is much bigger on this one. Yeah, and the spacing on that is different too. Oh, okay, so this one has a different EU address. I know that's become a thing since we left the EU. You still need to have an EU address for Northern Ireland, I believe. I know that it's like, if you have an EU address and the EU address is in the Republic of Ireland, it doesn't necessarily mean that the brand operates in the Republic of Ireland. So this one has an email address and some phone numbers. That's interesting. I wonder which one is older or newer. 2024, 2022. Okay, interesting. Yeah, this seems much more like recent to me by having, well, they both have EU address. And yeah, interesting that the EU one is Ben Ross Marketing, which is the owner of the Christmas Workshop, but this one appears to be some other company. Interesting. And then this other company is closer to the UK, being in the Republic of Ireland. Well, depends. I guess I'm getting really technical here. Depends on where in the UK you are, for one of the countries to be closer. But I mean, like, culturally closer, Republic of Ireland. Like that is more like common, I think, I would say, when it comes to UK companies having presence elsewhere. Anyway, you see, this is the kind of thing where I'm like, am I focusing too much on something like this? But then I know some people would get really nerdy about this and enjoy that. And me doing it saves them ordering this to have a look as well. Here we go. Gorgeous, so gorgeous. Okay, so yeah, I'm curious to do the same thing and see the order of the lights on here. So we've got the fuse bulb second. And let me, because the other one, the fuse bulb was like in the middle. So let me just see if this is actually on the left side. Just make sure. Okay. This is so interesting to me. I can't remember if this is like normal or if this is like a recent thing, maybe, because I feel like things are so cheaply made these days compared to in the noughties. And it makes me wonder, is this just because it's cheaply made? Yeah, there we go. It's the second one. So this is the beginning. So yeah, I'm definitely going to want to swap that, and especially with the other one. Okay, let's see the order we have here. Okay, so red, fuse, pink, blue, orange, red, green, 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 pink, blue, orange. Okay, perfect. And then there was an orange, an extra orange in there. So wait, what came after red? Green. So I'm gonna want to put, yeah, so I'm gonna want to move this all up. One, put a green there. See, stuff like this I just find so fun. Okay, what else did I want to do? Oh yeah, check the white ones. I'm kind of glad I got two of the same packs. Okay, so let's... I'm also curious to see how the label is between these two. This one has Ben Ross for the EU address as well. And then the back, 2022. So this one is the original set that I looked at, 2023. Interesting. So yeah, it seems from 2024, that's when they changed it. All right, let's plug this in. Oh, lovely. Yeah, and I will check with these two where the fuse bulb is. Yeah, so there's one there, which is definitely not near the front, so I will definitely swap that to the front. Okay, now I'm really curious to see what the base of these bulbs are like. So I've been standing this whole time. I'm gonna sit down and take a closer look. So I mentioned at the beginning that I realized that you can get a tool to help you kind of pull it out. I kind of thought they were going to come with this set, but maybe I was mistaken. There's another set of incandescent string lights from NOMA, which are a full string rather than a loop. And I think those ones have that tool. So I'm going to try getting hold of a pack of those. So for now, I'm just going to pull this out. Here we go. Oh, it wasn't too difficult. Okay, so here's what that looks like. So that's the NOMA one. So let's compare with this one. I'll just grab another blue. So they look pretty similar. Are they the same size? Yeah, they're about the same size. I'm gonna just see if they fit in the other one. Yeah, that does fit. But yeah, I'm not going to turn them on. I just remembered because they are different voltages. And then let's try it in here. Yeah, cool. So they both fit. Right. I'm just making sure. Okay, so the longer one was the NOMA one. Let's put that back. And then let's put this one in there. Cool. Yeah, so just to show you what I mean, I got a bunch of replacement bulbs, and if you look on the back of, or somewhere on the box of NOMA lights, it actually has the replacement lamp code on there. So this one is W4, and that basically just signifies that it is for a set of 20 lights. And if you weren't exactly sure, it has like more details here. So you want 12 volts and 0.84 watts. And then for the fuse lamps, you want them to be that. If you're ever unsure what replacement bulbs you need, you would basically do 230 volts divided by the amount of bulbs, which equals 12. So here that is here, 12 volts, 0.84 watts, and then you got the replacement lamp code there. These don't have a lamp code, but that might be something to do with NOMA. I don't know if it was that kind of thing where this is like a universal thing, or NOMA had their lamp codes, another company had their own lamp codes, but it appears that the base is the same. So that would mean that this would be suitable in these Christmas workshop ones, because, well, it says on here, normal bulb 6 volts 0.72 watts, fuse bulb 5 watts 0.6. So let's check that. 6 volts 0.72 watts, 5 volts 0.6. Yeah, so these would be suitable. The only thing would be that the bulbs on here are slightly taller, but I assume that's fine because the base is fine, the voltage is fine. So yeah, if not, please do let me know, but I'm pretty sure that is fine. And something that I have learned from similar videos on YouTube is if you do have a set where the base of the bulb is different to the spares that you have, as long as the voltage is right, you can actually take apart the base. So let's get that focused. So you would, oh, this is kind of, so you basically these kind of curl around the side like that, and you would pull them down, and then you can pull like this part out and then put it into the casing that actually fits the strand that you're looking for. So that is it for this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you found it interesting, and there will be many more similar videos, so do check them out, and I will speak to you soon. Bye bye.